Pauline Swift for Our World Media Magazine, talking to little Anthony of the Imperials. Hi, how are you?
Hello, Pauline. How are you?
It's a great honor.
Really?
Yes, it is. Yes, I've been watching you since I was a kid.
Oh dear. Good. That's not good.
It's a wonderful thing. You have a great legacy. One thing I wanted to ask you is, how have you sustained yourself all these decades? What is your secret?
Well, one of the original Imperials not with us anymore. We only have one guy left. That's on his right. He's standing right over there. I've been very blessed with running some of the finest writers and producers that you can possibly run into. That's number one. Who took me under their wing because they wanted to. They just said I had an unusual voice. It's very identifiable. They said, so I got to work with a lot of wonderful people. Even as a kid, at 17 years old, I worked with George Goldman, who was the president of Gorman Records, which is this huge independent company in those days. That's where I recorded Tears on My Pillow and stuff like that. And Shimmy Shimmy Cocoa Bop as a kid. And what we did as the Imperials, we just were our musical background is very broadened. Like I love classicals. I love operas. I go to operas and classical, and yes, I do. And jazz. And all of that kind of stuff. And so we had a pretty wide open understanding of what music was about. Even then, when we were like little street corner singers, kids are doing stuff like, it just, and so we sort of went from recording stars and had that bridge to performing stars. And most of my contemporaries and people out of the years that I came up, a lot of them didn't. A lot of them just stayed where they were, and they, managers or whoever tell them, oh, this is what's happening today. Well, today is gone. Now it's now. Mom maybe said, I don't talk about no good old days. These is the good old days right now. So they didn't take that move, and we're fortunate enough to make that move. And we started doing things that other groups weren't doing. We were working the Boss circuit in the mountains, and in those days the Catskills was pretty big. Today it's not what it used to be. Concord and Browns and all the different places. And we were able to learn songs. We even learned Yiddish songs. And we were able to just do things that other groups just weren't doing. The only other group I know that really was my idol that was doing stuff like that was called the Flamingos. Right? Nate Nelson and Flamingos, all those guys. Terry Johnson, all them. And they were sort of we would look and see what they were doing. And they were really ahead of their time too as well. And so that's what happened. We just realized what entertainment was and how long we're going to be. And then, like I said, I have a book out called My Journey, My Destiny. Little Anthony.
What's it about?
It's about my journey.
Your journey. Okay.
All the different people. It's not a me book. I'm going to talk about me so much as I'm talking about how wonderful being and performing with these great stars. And then getting them to impart to me some of their knowledge and wisdom. And I've had many people tell me, oh, it's just so sad that they're dead and all of that. I said, no, they're not dead.
They're still in your inside, in your heart.
Yeah. So, and I just was so fortunate where a lot of artists just weren't. It's like Motowns, like Supremes, Dinah Ross, all of them took that little leap forward. And Marvin Gaye, they all took leap forward. But when I came in the late 50s, they just didn't think that way. I mean, they didn't. I call it the Stone Age of rock and roll, and they didn't think like that. But we were visionaries. We don't know why we were visionaries. We just were. We just wanted to see, could we do that? Could we sing 4-part modern harmony? Can we do a jazz thing? Can we learn how to read music? Can we just? That's how all the guys were. They were very curious. And I hope that answers that. A very long answer.
It does. It definitely does.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing presently? I heard there's some new material.
Oh yeah, I'm doing an album of singles, and we hope to have one out in October, hopefully. And I just did one that was just a lot of fun. I mean, it was a duet with George Benson. The great George Benson. We did a song.
What was it like working with him?
Oh man, it was it's a dream come true. Because I've known him a long time, and he's always say, one of these days, we're gonna do it together. You know, I said, right, make joke, great joke. You know, and it happened years later. So I'm very happy about that. And other songs that are being written for me and other producers that have come on board, the very top people in the business. I just was sort of reinvented, rediscovered, and really, it's really more Little Anthony. It's not Little Anthony Imperials. Little Anthony Imperials, they're two different entities, and it's hard for people to separate that.
Can you tell me how is the two
Well,
different?
because I'm Little Anthony. See,
Okay.
I'm not an Imperial.
All
They're
right.
the Imperials.
Oh,
It's
all
like
right.
Sears and Roebuck. I don't know if people are old enough to remember them.
Yeah.
Two stores used to be together, Sears and Roebuck, but then it broke off and then it became Sears.
Right. Correct.
So once you put somebody ahead and you make them the front man, you immediately cut them out of the herd. Like Donna Ross and the Supremes, Smokey Robinson, and the Miracles. See, there was only the Miracles when they first started. It was only Supremes when they first started, but they were cut out, and I was cut out. So we're just two different entities that work together sometimes. But now, today, I would say about 85%, 75% things I'm trying to do, and I'm sure I will do, is really me, Little Anthony. It's that time in my life that I just want to just be me, and not have, you know, that tag. I know people that are my age are going to always lean on that's natural, but the young people today, and the younger audiences, they see me as Little Anthony, especially when I do something by myself. So they don't, like when I recorded, they didn't say, oh, we're going to give you a recording contract for Little Anthony Imperials. They didn't care about the Imperials. They just wanted to do Little Anthony.
Little Anthony.
See?
You're the star.
That's
yes.
about what it comes down to.
Can you tell me who do you admire today as entertainers?
I like Beyonce. Yeah, she's a hard-working lady, man. She's the real deal. She goes out there and busts her behind, man. Every show, gives all she got. And then like Sammy Davis once told me, he said, we all know who the phonies are, so I'm not going to mention them. And there's a lot of them. But she's one of them. Of course, George Benson, that's a given. And not many. I came out of there with Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, Ella Fitzgerald, and I sort of lean there. I don't really notice much. Certain people do something that I get turned on, and I guess it's mostly the women singers. Mariah Carey turned me on the first day I heard it. I said, woo. And of course Beyonce, but I really don't have any, there's not many male stars today.
No, there isn't.
So it's nobody for me to latch on to, except for those people before me.
What advice would you give to any young person that wants to enter the field of entertainment? What would you tell them?
I would tell them first and foremost, you have to have a passion for something. When you see Michael Jordan do what he does on that court, he has a passion. Or Kobe Bryant, all them people, or Shaq, Sammy Davis. The great ones all have this one thing in common, a passion. That's what they like to do. That's what they can do best. That's the gift they have, and they pursue that passion. If you're going to jump around and decide you're going to be a rap singer because everybody else is rapping, and you really don't care, you think that's a way to make money or a way to get out of the hood or whatever you're trying to do, that's one thing. But to have a passion, Jay-Z is one of the people who has a passion. I could tell what he does. There's more of a passion. Anytime you do from Annie, the play, It's a Hard Look Life, that shows you where his head was at, see?
Sure.
So there are few, but I would tell everybody, it's got to be something, man, which you don't even want to do anything else. That's all you want to do. And that's foremost. And I'm very blessed to come out of a very large family. I had a mom and dad. They were married for 50 years. So I had aunts and people to keep me grounded. A lot of these kids coming today, they don't have that.
Is any of your children involved in music? Or
No, they can sing. Quite a few of them sing very, very well. But they went different ways. My son, Tony, is my business manager. And he used to sing a lot. And Damon is a good singer. My other son, he's in the aerodynamic business up in Seattle, so he's making a lot. He makes more money than I do. And they're all different, but but no one is actually see that passion. That's the connection. That's the connection, and I don't think they latched onto it like I did as a kid in Brooklyn. Because I thought Jersey was a foreign country, you know. So that singing brought me to places in the world I would have never gone.
I heard you're from Fort Greene?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Fort Greene Project, yeah.
Now, how did you get out?
I wasn't trying to get out. I thought that was it. I thought that's what you're supposed to live like. I'm sure when my father took me to New York City, I saw big buildings and things and wondered, I think I'd like to live there or something like that. But I wasn't trying to get out. I don't know what I was trying to do. All I knew is that I can sing, and I wanted to sing, and I knew as I went along, actually, I would have paid you to sing, you know. But then after a while, people started putting money in my hand, and I said, "Wow, you get paid for doing this?" And that's the kind of attitude I had. So now it's a business. It says show business. Now for me, it's a business, and as well as a passion still there. I have just as much passion now as I had when I was a kid.
Is there anything that you haven't done that you would like to do?
There's quite a few things I would like to do. Vocally, I have a lot of ideas and things because I want to combine the classic with me singing some of the great operettas and just turning it around into sort of a contemporary R&B thing. You know, I've been dabbling with that, trying to figure out how to do that. And it's possible, but it takes people around you with vision to be able to do that, to help you out.
Do you write?
I'm a singer that writes. I'm not a writer that sings. Smokey is a writer that sings. I'm a singer that sometimes writes. That's the big difference.
Okay. Out of all your hits, which one is the one that you knew when you went in the studio this was going to be it? Or did you know all of them was going to be it?
No, going out of my head, there's no doubt. That's in the book too. It tells you how that progressed, how that came about. And as soon as we heard it, not one guy in my group we all said, whoa, we knew that was something special. It's something like this song that I did with George. It's something special about that song. I'm not really sure what it is, but it gives you that jolt. You know? And usually when you get that jolt, everybody else gets the jolt with you.
Is there something that the public doesn't know that you would like them to know?
Well, that's why I'm saying parking my book. I'm so shameful. I'm shameless.
You love your book?
Yeah. That gets more into detail about that. If I had to sit and tell you now, it would take hours. So there, you can kind of get into the intricate things of life. The good, the bad, the good people, the bad people, the great influences, the rotten influences, the ups, the downs, the triumphs, the joys, the failures. You know, I tell people all the time, there's no such thing as failure. Failure is nothing but experience. I was reading what they once told Tom Edison. They interviewed him in New York papers and said, what does it feel like, Mr. Edison, to fail 9 times on one of your experiments? He said, wow, I didn't fail. I just learned how not to do that.
Okay. Well, that's so funny. I was going to ask you next, what experiences have you had in the past that made a mark on your life, that made a difference?
That's an interesting question. I think for me, I played the Eden Rock Hotel in Miami, which was only the biggest stars played at the time. So that impressed me. And the other one was the Lincoln Center, Avery Hall, when I concerted there with Dionne Warwick, and we had the New York Philharmonic Orchestra playing behind us. That was an experience I'll always remember.
Sounds great. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to hearing the new material. Are you going to perform it tonight or anything?
No, because again, it's not the Imperials. It's about Little Anthony.
Okay.
So when the record comes out, people, the new audience will probably hear it and then make their decision on what they like. If they like it, well, then I'm just going in another direction.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
interview.
Pauline.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.